In this build with Exigeous, we'll be looking at the Alliance Chieftain. One of the most popular choices for medium-class combat ships, the Chieftain offers a great mix of hardpoints, armor, maneuverability, and a view that makes it extremely well suited to combat in PvE, PvP, and wingfight scenarios. Let's look at building the most effective Chieftain possible. To begin, there will be a rather extensive list of engineers necessary. If you've yet to unlock these, you can use this build unengineered. It will just be far less capable and not viable for PvP. If you're working to unlock the engineers, you can see my guides covering them all. You may also want to take a look at my various guides on material gathering and engineering to make the most efficient use of your time. This build can be completed from start to finish in roughly 8 hours using those methods, and while that's not quick, in elite terms it's relatively fast. Let's now look at the build. We'll begin with the core modules, where we'll start with reactive surface composite armor with heavy-duty deep plate engineering. This will leave us a bit of a thermal hole, but we'll plug that later with the reinforcement. Next, you'll want a 6A armored thermal spread power plant. You could go with double braced if you want a bit more protection, but I find it rather rare you'll have your plant sniped. For our thrusters, we'll want 6A with dirty drag drives. For the frameshift drive, we have a few choices. As I don't jump any of my combat ships nor high wake from a fight, I'll use a 2D with increased range grade 1 and stripped down to make the FSD as light as possible, giving us a small speed boost. If you do plan on jumping, you can go with a full 5A grade 5 to increase range, or even better, a 5D. That way you'll have some range but still be a bit lighter. For life support, you can go D rated with lightweight, as this provides 7.5 minutes of oxygen. This is generally plenty to finish a fight and return to the station in time, or you can easily synthesize additional oxygen. A 6A distributor with charge-enhanced superconduits means our distributor will recharge as quickly as possible, and A-class lightweight sensors give us a good range with minimum weight. For our optional internals, we'll start with a Class 6 biweave with thermal blueprint and fast charge experimental. We'll fill out our remaining slots with hull and module reinforcements. We'll want 2 module reinforcements. I prefer a Class 2 and 4. For the hull reinforcements, you'll want all but one with heavy-duty deep plate, with a single Class 2 running thermal with reflective. This will balance your resistances from the reactive hull, providing just over 4,200 total integrity. For utilities, there are several ways you could go. I prefer a 3-booster loadout with 1 heavy-duty supercapacitor and the other 2 resistance augmented with force block. You could skip the single heavy-duty for faster regeneration time, but I prefer the slightly stronger overall shields and feel the balance of the single heavy-duty works well. You'll likely want a single ammo capacity chaff launcher or heatsink, depending on your fighting style and weapons loadout. If you go without the heavy-duty booster, you can run both a chaff launcher and heatsink, or double of each, again depending on your playstyle. I go with 3 boosters and a single ammo capacity heatsink. Finally, for hardpoints, we have a large list of choices. I run a standard plasma accelerator and rails meta with 2 large and 1 medium PA. Personally, I use the power play weapon advanced plasma accelerators on the large and a standard on the medium. There are 2 great choices for blueprints, either the devastating efficient, which adds roughly 25% more damage, or the far easier to use focused, which unfortunately adds a great deal of heat. As the Chieftain runs relatively cool, you can use focused. However, you'll need to be careful with how rapidly you fire to keep from taking module damage. For your experimental, you'll want to go at least 1 target lock breaker and dispersal. This will break your opponent's lock and scramble their gimbals. I run lockbreaker on both a large and medium. That way, if I allow my weapon capacitor to get very low and only my medium fires, I still get the target lock breaker effect. For the 3 smalls, you'll want to run long-range rails with Super Penetrator and Feedback Cascade. Super Penetrator allows for the sub-targeting and destruction of modules, and Feedback Cascade, which cancels an opponent's cell banks. Due to these being small, I choose 2 Feedback Cascade, so I'm more effective against cell banks. If you're not yet comfortable with the PA rail meta, you can go with an all multi-cannon build or a mix of multis and lasers, likely burst. If you're building for bounty hunting, a full laser build also works rather well. Here, I generally go with pulse lasers for the lower power and distributor draw. The Chieftain is an extremely capable and fun to fly combat ship and is my personal choice for almost all PvP engagements. It hits hard, moves well, offers great views, and a relatively low rebuy when compared to ships such as the FDL. It should be noted that its canopy is its weak spot. As such, you'll need to be very mindful of this and make sure you're not face tanking an opponent, especially if they're using plasma. Hopefully this build guide will help you put together an extremely capable combat ship. I look forward to hearing how you use the Chieftain in the comments below. Once again, this has been Commander Exigeous, reminding you to fly dangerously, and thanks for watching. If you're new to shipbuilding and engineering, I hope you'll check out my videos covering these, and that you'll join me on my weekly live streams, Tutorial Tuesdays, and the Creators Roundtable each Friday, and that you'll consider supporting my efforts via Patreon.